then we're going to be joined. America is going to join us. That's right. This is how this works, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy, your friend, CL King, and my man Mike B in the house. What's up, everybody? Yeah, this is Impacting Life 24/7, coming to you live from Impactville. I'm sitting high atop the glorious Ruth E. Plowden legacy chair, and I'm blessed to have my right-hand man, my friend, the doctor of all things smooth. This brother don't get flustered about nothing. My man, Mike B. What's going on, Mike B?
What's up, man? How you doing tonight,
man,
buddy?
I'm glad to be back with all the folks at Impacting Life 24/7. And I said that I needed you to come bail me out because I'm dead tired. You know, man?
I feel you, dog. Big time.
Well, look, how you feel me? I'm the one that was traveling.
Yeah, I've traveled before, dog. You know how it
well,
is.
yeah. Well, you understand the weariness, right?
I understand traveling, and I travel on faith, bro. What do? You be booking tickets and all that good stuff?
I book tickets 6 months in advance, and you book tickets 3 hours in advance, right?
I don't book tickets, dog. I just show up. Be like, I'm Mike Black. What's up? Get on this flight. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how Mike B rolls. He just shows up, man. He don't even. Yeah,
I don't even check a bag, dog.
You don't even check a bag. You just go, huh?
I just go. Got my duffel bag. I'm rolling.
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we thank everybody for tuning in to Impacting Life 24/7. This is our Monday edition. I've been off for several weeks, and we came back. You know, Mike and I were talking today or yesterday. I can't even remember. But we came back, and I said, man, we got to get back in the grind, Mike. 7 days of no broadcast. And I said, Mike, I need you to come bail me out, brother. I need somebody dynamic with me. And of course, you know, I slide him a couple bucks under the table every now and then.
That's right.
Yeah. in the form of vouchers.
So I get a discount for a haircut.
Yeah, you get a discount for a 2-piece dark at your next fill up at BP.
Sweet. 32 ounce soda, Circle K.
So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Impacting Life 24/7 with your host, CL King, and my man, Mike B, all the way there in New Bern, North Carolina. I'm coming to you live from Impactville. I just wanted to change, Mike. If you notice, the camera is not right in front of me. I got it off to the angle. I just wanted to be different because I said I'm coming back. The studio is a mess, brother. So I said, you know what? We're just gonna make this happen. I need to be with somebody that I trust who won't mess me up, and that's Mike Black.
Nice. That's me.
What's been going on in your world, Mike?
Nothing much, man. You know, I think you had a picture, if you could cue it up, you know, sometime during the show. I had a little Halloween party I went to at the neighbor's house. Had a lot of fun. Wife and I always wanted to dress up as Salt and Pepper. And I was Pepper, she was Salt, so we kept it funny. And the man that hosted it was Beetlejuice. And his wife was a nun, so it was really
you guys kind of reversed it. You were Pepper and she was Salt.
Right. We just reversed it just to see if we could get a reaction out of people.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Impact Life 24/7. And since Mike, for those of you that can see on the actual live broadcast, let me see if I can bring this up for y'all. I'm gonna share our screen real quick, and let's see if we can show that to our viewership. Mike, you were Pepper and she was Salt. Let's see if everybody can see that out there. It should be showing up on your screen now. Is that you there, Mike?
That's me, big dog. That was a great picture.
Yeah, that's a glorious picture, man. I mean, like, who in the world would have thought to reverse it like that? You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, definitely the pepper in the stepper is Mike Black. So again, ladies and gentlemen, just joining us, this is Impacting Life 24/7. We haven't lost our minds, but this is Open Mic Monday, so we have a tendency to be a little less structured. And there you see on your screen Beetlejuice, and Mike was pepper, and his lovely wife Camille, was salt. And it really should be the other way around, but they decided to mix it up. So there you go. Is that y'all first time doing that, Black?
I wanted to do that for like 20 years, though.
You've been
I'm a
wanting to do
nerd,
that?
I swear.
Yeah.
I've been married to her for 17. And I dated her for like 4 years, but I wanted to do that forever.
Yeah,
and I ordered it off of Amazon. Let me tell you a funny story about it.
Yeah.
It comes in one size, and I thought I picked large, so I'm glad I had to hide behind Beetlejuice.
Oh, you picked you picked one size, and it was not.
I picked a large. It still was tight on me, dog. So I had to strategically get a photo somehow.
Yeah, right.
And that's why you got that long angle photo behind Beetlejuice. And
you were sucking that
motorcycle.
You were sucking that gutty in, huh?
I was like,
well, again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Impact Life 24/7 with your host, CL King, and my co-host, Mike B, up there in New Bern, North Carolina. I'm coming to you live from Impactville. That is where I will be. Just came back, Mike, as you know, just got back from a glorious week in the metropolis. I don't know if that's what it's called. I was calling it a town, and my wife said, baby, this is not a town.
Right.
The city of Houston, and it was an absolute glorious time. Have you been to that area, Mike?
I haven't been to Houston. I went to San Antonio one time, traveled for business, and San Antonio was really nice. So I can imagine Houston being even better.
I'm trying to get my mind's eye wrapped around San Antonio. Is it more like an open desert kind of concept in San Antonio? Or is it?
I don't know how to compare it. Maybe to Arizona. It had an Arizona feel.
Okay.
But you had the nice boardwalk, and they just had so many restaurants and just people, culture. They had one of the forts, I guess. There was a fort in San Antonio. I can't remember the name right now, but we went and checked it out. Real historical, and but it's just Texas itself is so nice. I mean,
yeah, I absolutely love the vibe of Texas. You know what I mean? Like you get there, and yeah, Houston everybody is in a hurry. I mean, Mike,
right.
60 miles an hour was kind of like the dominating speed on the speed sign. You know, the speed limit sign. But right. I think that was just there as like a placeholder for if you broke down, go 60 in this line.
Did they have big highways, like 6-lane highways?
Bro, it was 8 to 10 hot lanes, brother. It was just
wow.
Charity was scared to drive. She didn't drive the whole time, bro.
Wow. So that means you had to drive.
I drove, and I am the Captain Kirk there in Texas, brother. I was all over it. I was right in the by the end of the week, I felt like I was being pretty aggressive. And then
right.
when I came back to the Ville here, it was like, man, everybody's just puttering along, got their, you know what I mean? Got this. I felt like, man, I was back in Mayberry, man. It's just totally different vibe. So
anyway, that or Newport, right?
Yeah, that or Newport for sure. So again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to Open Mic Monday. This is your host, CL King, with my man, Mike B. I am broadcasting from Impactville, and Open Mic Monday is a less structured format because, Mike, our week is jam-packed full of guests this week. Did you know that?
Did not.
I mean,
you're supposed
to be the co-host. How did you not know that?
I know, just teasing.
Okay,
but
so
tell me again.
Tomorrow night we will have. Okay, where are we at? I think. Well, I got to get to where we would be, brother. I'm all the way in August. Hold on a second. I'll tell you guys. Tomorrow night we have a very, very interesting guest, and when I say interesting, I don't mean that from the perspective of cavalier, but her story is very, very powerful. Her name is Jane Epstein, and she has a story that she's created a movement to help with sibling inappropriate sexual mishaps, and
Oh wow.
she was molested at a young age, and she's done some research that shows how much of this is happening that parents need to be aware of, and she's got some strategies and tips, but she went through a lot, and it sent her into an absolute spiral in her life. And so her story is just absolutely amazing. So we'll have her tomorrow night at 8:30. And then on Thursday, we have Professor Pete Alexander. And Professor Pete Alexander has created a remarkable, he's coming to us on the Pacific time. So it's cool that he inspires hard driving leaders and other working professionals with over 100 innovative ways how to de-stress.
Wow.
Yeah, because the reality is that in our teaching we talk about grinding, we talk about you got to get it while the daylight's there, but he also talks about how seasoned professionals are just one action and one metrics away from ending it all. And so he's done some extensive research in that. So we'll have him on Thursday, and then Friday I will have a dear lady from Australia. We had, because of the time difference, we had to try to find, it'll be 9:00 our time, and it'll be 9:00 p.m. our time, and then it'll be 9 a.m. the next day her time. And that'll be Tracy Cook, and she's a podcast guru, and she gives all types of tips on how to build a podcast. And I want to have more folks like that in the coming year, Mike, to help people understand that it's cool to start out like you and I started out, with just a Acme phone and some headphones. But if you really want to take this game to the next level, then there's some processes that you need to know.
Right, for sure. I mean, how did she start out? Did she tell you a little bit in her bio?
Yeah, she did.
Give the teaser to everybody.
Right. And well, she started out, everybody, which I love, that comes on this show has a story. And a lot of people have a story that was full of adversity. And so same thing with Tracy. She has a very, a history that was, she had some adversity in her life. And the thing about adversity is there is a pivot point in which someone can be absolutely consumed by it, or they can recognize that they can step outside of themselves and make improvements within themselves. And then the next part, which is really cool, improve and help others. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. I got you.
So we're going to have her on all the way from Australia. And then that very same night, Mike, we will have Midnight Motivation. That's going to be at midnight. So I'll finish up with Tracy at 10 p.m. and then we will take an hour break, and we will be right back for Midnight Motivation. We got 4 dynamic speakers from around the country that we do this once a month, and I think this is going to be our last one for the year. We'll start back up again in January, because everybody's going to be, if you take it, we do it the last Friday of the month. Everybody's going to be traveling with Thanksgiving, and then everybody's going to be, traveling with Christmas. So I just assume we'll clear our schedule for November and December.
Okay. It's a good plan. That's a packed week. You ain't lying. That's an action-packed week, man.
Yeah, and then on Saturday, I told you we're going all the way to this week is wide open, brother. For those of you tuning in to Impact Life 24/7, listen, this show is carried in 42 states, 28 countries, and 27 different platforms. We reach from coast to coast and around the world. And so to pull this off at this high level, it takes work. It takes effort, And so Saturday, we will be celebrating our 200th episode, and that we will celebrate that. We might do some giveaways, Mike, and just have a big time. We've got some testimonials of past guests who have been on the show, and so that's just going to be a great day. That's going to be at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then we will close out the week. So we're wide open. I'm going to earn every single penny that you pay me this week.
That's a crazy week, man. I'm
brother.
glad you took off so you could be prepared for this week.
Oh, brother, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to make this happen, man. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it live.
Yes,
So anyway, Mike, when we come back from our sponsor break, I want to kind of talk to you about my experience at the Motion Conference.
Okay.
Where I was at in Texas. But I have discovered something, Mike, that there are a lot of parallels in churches that are effective, that we can glean stuff from, or organizations that are effective that we can glean stuff from and share with other organizations to help them maximize their efficiencies. And you think you're going to a church leadership conference learning how to grow your church, but man, you come away just like wowed at the entire experience. And I want that for our company. I want anyone that has any interaction with Impacting Life 24/7. I want them to be wowed when they're finished with us.
I think that's excellent, man. I mean, the latter would be, I'm not going to view that podcast, but you're right. You want something them to come here and they gain something from it. I mean,
right.
So
exactly.
I'm with that.
And that's
awesome.
That's kind of the purpose behind it. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have a quick word about our sponsors and why they are essential to what we do here at Impacting Life 24/7. Then we'll be right back. Our sponsors help us reach people from city to city, coast to coast, and around the world. Our gold sponsors, Michelle Perry. She is the host of the Successful Diligence podcast and best-selling author of The Pebble in My Shoe. You can connect with Michelle and get a copy of her book at successfuldiligence.com. Paula Cousson has dedicated her life volunteering in community youth programs such as the Young Marines. Paula believes that the greatest asset each young person has is at least one caring adult in their life. Donald Lamb is a gold sponsor, and he and his wife have happily been married for over 35 years. He is the proud father of one daughter and 3 sons. Donald honorably served his country over 22 years in the United States Army and retired with distinction. Active in his community, Donald is also the owner and operator of Mama's Boy Event Planning and Coordinating Services. Connect with Donald at facebook.com/Mama's Boy Events Coordinating. Our platinum sponsors, Gregory Smith. He is the author of 100 Simple Ways How to Manage a Property and Evidence Room. Get your copy today by reaching out to Gregory Smith on Facebook or email him at smithg1963@yahoo.com. Adrian Barker is the host of the Adrian Barker Speaks podcast, a life coach and CEO of Professional Global Etiquette. Please connect with her at professionalglobaletiquette.com. Mr. Mike Black from New Bern, North Carolina. He helps men throughout Eastern Carolina lead a faith-filled life. He is a compassionate leader in his church, a devoted husband and father. Dr. Nate Dunlap Jr. is the executive director of the PRF Institute. He is the author of What's Next, Preparing for Eternity, and Don't Leave Me Like This, Inspiration to Leave a Legacy. As a 501c3 nonprofit organization, the PRF Institute is blessed to be that premier stewardship-based teaching ministry that truly responds to the needs of families and communities around the country. Find Dr. Dunlap and his amazing team at prfinstitute.org. Poet Katrina McCain is the author of Because She Decided to Love. This is a collection of poetry and prose about love and its impact on every relationship. This raw, uncut poetry book addresses the themes of how we experience love through loss, hurt, pain, grief, and passion. Get your copy of her book today at poetkatrina.mccain.com. If you would like to become a sponsor of Impacting Life 24/7, it's very simple. Just visit clkingspeaker.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Just visit clkingspeaker.com. You're tuning into Impacting Life 24/7. There's my man, Mike B. This is CL King coming to you live from Impactville. As we said, this show is broadcasted and downloaded in 42 states around the country. It has been downloaded in 28 countries, Afghanistan, Israel, Jamaica, I mean, just the list. I can list them all out for you, and it's carried on 27 different platforms: iTunes, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, Siri. Hey Siri, play Impact. I'm like, when I tried that touched me one day, Black. I said, hey Siri, play Impacting Life 24/7. Playing Impacting Life 24/7 with CL King. I said, oh, we have arrived, brother.
That's awesome, man.
You know what I'm saying, man?
That is awesome.
That touches my soul, brother. My soul has been touched. So anyway, Black, I just wanted to tell you and our audience that one of the things that we did not prep tonight. Usually the show prep is about 4 hours long when we have a guest, but we did not prep tonight because I'm just getting back. I got to ease my way back into this thing, y'all. You know what I mean? I couldn't even remember how to start the show tonight. Mike was like, what button you supposed to push, bro? But there is something that Mike and I could probably talk about every night of the week that is a passion of ours, and it is organizational culture. And Mike, I'm just going to talk to you. The audience can listen. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast. You can catch it on any place you download your podcast, and of course here live on YouTube everywhere around the virtual world. But you know, Mike, when I went to First Church in Pearland, Texas, which is where I was at, and I've been there before. I went last year to this same conference, the Motion Conference. And of course, you know, it's your first time there, so you're absolutely wowed, right? You know, the beautiful edifice. But beyond all of that about the church were the people. It was like you walked in there and you felt like, from the parking lot staff to the greeters to how they had peppermints in the men's restroom. Peppermints with little cups of Listerine. I mean, just they thought of everything. They wanted you to feel like you didn't have to think of anything. And anybody you interacted with in any station, whether it was the door person, whether it was the guy giving the class, whether it was the pastor, anyone you interacted with seemed like they were saying the same thing. Now, how important is understanding the why if you're talking about having a strong positive culture? Why do we exist? I want to prick your brain on that, because a lot of times people just have the what. I'm supposed to show up, dump fries, and clock out.
Right.
But how important do you feel the why is?
I think the why is critical. I mean, you think about, you said dump the fries. You think about the difference between Chick-fil-A and other fast food places. When you pull up at Chick-fil-A, they greet you. They're pleasant. They say, "How may I serve you?" Even just "How may I serve you" is a word that you don't hear at other places, right? Then you pull up, and then they take your payment, and then you get your food, and it's ready, and it's correct. And it's like that type of culture, they understand why they're there. And it's not just for a paycheck. It's not just for whatever they're serving. And so it's I guarantee if you looked at Chick-fil-A's culture and their training, I guarantee you it's embedded in there when they get a job. And so I'm just, using Chick-fil-A as an example.
Right.
We have many other examples.
And I've taught leadership. I've taught a couple leadership classes called Lead Like a Chicken. And
right.
For those of you who would like to get that, of course, $3,500 could get you get me in the door. Then we'll negotiate the rest.
Sure.
Because I got to pay.
And I think I saw a picture of you with a chicken for Chick-fil-A in Texas. Right. So there is a connection there.
That's right. Yeah, I, you know what I mean. I'm trying to become a stockholder. It wasn't the chicken. It wasn't the chicken, brother. It was the cow.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
yes.
the cow says
lead like a chicken, but you were taking a picture with the cow.
Right, I was taking a picture with the cow. And here's the deal. You can leverage that across any organization. But it felt like to me, I'm just going to use First Church as my template for tonight that I refer back to. First Church in Pearland. I spent the week there, ladies and gentlemen, just getting back, teaming up with my man Mike B in the studios of Impacting Life 24/7. And I some people would say, well, you need to have independent thinking. And if everyone's saying the same thing and everyone's acting the same way, then where's the opportunity for independent thinking? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I just think that you don't necessarily have to think the same way. I just think that in your example of the church, it's like like you said, they hit on all the good things. They made you feel welcome. They all weren't necessarily saying the same thing, but they were putting off the same vibe that you're loved. We're here. I think you said one word that they use is others. So it's like they bought into that, you know, it's like they bought into that and says, we're here for others. And simply, if you have that mindset, everything else just falls into play. I bet I can imagine they want them to be themselves. They don't want them to not be themselves. Be who you are as a person. If you're funny, be funny. If you're, flamboyant or loud or whatever, or soft, be yourself. But they bought into the mission. They bought into the culture, and they believe in it. And like you said, I can imagine. I wasn't there, but I've been in church conference before, buddy, and I can imagine how that how that resonates.
Yeah, but, because here's the deal. It's like here's where I feel like, and we can tie this into the secular world too. But here's where I
Sure.
feel like they have tapped into something. Now they said in one of their sessions that it took them 12 years to make this titanic turn. They said that if you had went back and looked 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, the church wasn't like this. It didn't have that culture, right? They were having good church, but people were just coming in and going out, right? So when we talk about buying into the why, some people would say, well, okay, so they do have independence, and like you said, they're not necessarily saying the exact same thing, but they've bought into the overarching concept of others. But here's the other thing, that the people that I saw that were serving there, just kind of like the people that serve at Chick-fil-A or wherever that are doing good, it's like they were fitly designed to be in that position. Like they're serving in a capacity that they want to be serving in.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
even if Chick-fil-A is an example and they're just putting on the front, they make it feel like they
Right.
want to be there and they
Right.
want you to be there.
Right.
Right. So if an organization can ever tap into getting the workforce, okay, we're going to buy into the why, but we also want to help align you with your ultimate purpose in that why. See, because they had at First Church, they have people serving in areas that they want to, serving in areas that they're gifted in, serving in areas that they feel purposed to do. So how does a secular organization do that?
Well, secular organization would probably do, not to say aptitude tests, but in organizations, but jobs that they know that you're skilled for, they would do an assessment. So, like, go back to the church example, to where I guarantee you that church did a spiritual gifts test, and what they did is they said, "Hey, Chris, you're a speaker. We want you at the front. We want you to welcome people. We don't want you in the back doing the dishes or quietly serving someone, a brownie. Not to say that you wouldn't do good there, but they assess that your spiritual gift is mercy or grace or comforting people. So they position people strategically. It's called leadership, where they recognize where to place you, right? So in an organization, they assess, you don't put someone that can't stand doing spreadsheets You don't put them doing spreadsheets. You do put them at customer service if they're very good at speaking and helping others. You assess though, but see, leaders have to assess where to place people. And every organization is different, and they have to assess that for themselves. Whatever, insert whatever organization you're talking about.
Right.
So,
And I agree with you there that so when we talk about the the move to impact organizational culture, man, you're talking about it's a lot to shift, especially if you feel like your culture is going in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? Like
right.
First Church said that they had to basically take an eraser and just erase everything. Which I told you that takes a lot of courage for an organization to say, hey, look, we need to start over so that we can retain quality people, right?
Right.
I thought about that when Charity and I was going to buy a Subway years ago, and this was way back in like 97. And I said, man, you know what? I want to have a Subway where I pay them more than the Subway up the street, and they love coming to work. I was thinking about
Right.
that. I was thinking about that at 23 years old, brother. I said, I want them to love coming to work. So now imagine that. Is it possible for an organization to tap into that particular piece of their workforce and make it an environment that people actually enjoy coming to?
Of course, they could do that. And they don't do it by gimmicks. They don't do it by short-term benefits and short-term. They do it in the long term. Like one thing you keyed on, as you said, it took 12 years to turn it around.
Right.
Imagine organizations that do things for a couple of years and then they let it go. A couple of years, they let it go. If they're not committed to the long-term vision, and it's not a slow change, it's an incremental change. I'll tell you one thing I heard too that was absolutely, I thought, baffled me, is that they said some of these companies outside industry basically would hire for attitude vice aptitude.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, oh my goodness.
Wow.
And I thought, whoa, my head was about to explode when I read that. And I said, well, wait a minute. What are you trying to say? If companies focus all on aptitude, but they all have bad attitudes when they get there, what are you going to accomplish as an organization?
Mm-hmm.
And until organizations look and say, wait a minute, what are some of the attitudes of people that work here? Yeah, they might be smart. They might be whiz kids on a computer. So what? If they're destroying your culture and it's an absolute toxic place to work, why doesn't anybody look at that? And that's any organization. I mean, just pick and play any organization.
Wow,
man.
Mike, you just set it ablaze, brother. We'll definitely have to share this. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, who are listening to Impact Life 24/7. I'm coming to you live from Impactville. Of course, my co-host Mike B is resident there in the great city of New Bern, and you talked about aptitude over attitude. Somebody said, I'll take attitude. And let me just tell you, I was in a restaurant in Texas. As you know, there was probably several restaurants in Texas.
Right.
I mean, you can go around the corner and be at Applebee's, and then go around the other corner and be at Applebee's again. I mean, they got like 15 Applebee's, 25 Walmarts. I'm just like, man, you guys there's never a shortage. And the gas prices was lower too, but I'll just parenthetically insert that. Anyway, I went to a restaurant in Texas, and it was subpar, right? The decor was subpar. They only had 2 waiters. So, this is after church. Church folk like to go out and eat. So it was after church. I wanted something besides fast food. So it was a sit down style restaurant, but the atmosphere was subpar. We had to wait. They said we only got 2 waiters, blah, blah, blah. But our waiter's attitude shifted my thoughts away from all the other stuff, bro. I didn't care about the decor looking dated. I didn't care about my weight. I didn't care about any of that. He magnetized me with his positive attitude.
Wow. Now I got a question for you. Why do you think that people don't put more focus on the attitude versus, you know, say like that, like you said, they could have made the restaurant nicer. They could have been more pleasant. They could have had updated decorum. But what if they had all that and the waiter had a bad attitude? You would have remembered the guy with the bad attitude.
Right.
You wouldn't have said, "Oh, well, the furniture was nice and the food came wrapped and it was all tightly." You wouldn't have remembered that. So it's like, I think we need to put more focus into the human element of it, whether it's church, whether it's work. We're all in the people business in
Yeah.
some capacity, in some form, some way. We're all in the people business.
Well, let me tell you. Here's where I feel we are. Performance is important. Okay.
Performance is important.
Performance. Execution. Let's use that word.
Right.
Execution is important. All right.
Right.
So, First Church in Pearland, where I was at for the week, their execution centers on, me being a Lean Six Sigma green belt, you being a psychology major and a man that deals with quality process improvements and all that kind of stuff. You and I feel at home when we see a massive chart with swim lanes and all these variations and complexities, right? Yeah, we think we hoppy-toppies when we get up and give a brief, and it's got like 45 slides front and back with color diagrams and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
First Church has one word that everything else is subordinate to: others. So when they put up their flow chart, yes, Mr. President, get ready to put up our chart for what we're presenting. It's just they don't even got to use an 8x10 sheet of paper. They got a little sticky note up there. Okay, so if you're measuring your execution based off of the why, boy, I think this is gonna be a good show, Black. If you're measuring the effectiveness of your execution based off of the why that you have tapped into, that has been injected throughout your culture, then execution and attitude can be inextricably tethered together, right? You can have a high functioning executing staff that still enjoys what they do because they caught the understanding of the why.
Of the why. Do you think that that organizations get too reliant on results, meaning that they focus on the results, but they don't look at all the results of people they hired that went and got another job, people that are problematic, or whatever your results insert. Sometimes I think organizations get so focused on one result, making the numbers or whatever you want to call it, but yet there's results in other facets. You could put results in anything. How do you interacted with people? How your evaluations went? How you helped serve others this week? What did you do? And I think that some organizations, they know how to balance it. And like you said, it's just, you can tell when you walk in the room that they've thought about these. It's not just a check in the box, if you will. It's an actual thought out process. And they feel that it's links together. You use the word tethered. I don't want to say that word, but that they're linked together.
Right.
They all link together and they're all important. No, not one other is important than the other. It all works together like a well-oiled machine. And
right.
So,
and okay, so then if culture isn't important and having a positive culture isn't important, because some people say, you've heard this before, well, we're paying you. That's it. We're not paying you to be happy. We're paying you to get results, right?
Right.
And in results oriented entities, that can be the cheer. You know what I mean? That can be the moniker. But let's look at it another way. Let's flip it, because Some people are seeing signs on the road that says, this entity, let's just pick a bunch of them, Taco Bell, Target, this place, that place, right?
Right.
Now hiring $17 an hour, $19 an hour, $20 an hour. And they're still not getting their doors beat down with people. Right? So in this new normal that we're in, organizations definitely, especially now that, because, you go places and like we was at that restaurant, they only got 2 waiters there. Organizations definitely have to reevaluate how their organizational culture is attracting quality people.
Right.
Because it's not just all about money. It's not just because there's still a void in hiring and companies are bumping up the hourly wage. So it can't just be the money. Like you're saying, the bottom line, you're getting paid, shut up and do your job. I think those days are long gone, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. And Chris, to add a little more to that if you have people that would say you get paid to do a job, well, how much more could you tap into an individual's performance to have them, like you said, believe the why, be dedicated, perform, and not even care about the money they make. They just believe in the mission. They believe in what they're doing. How much more productivity? And then how can that be how can that kind of resonate to where it's infectious, to where the opposite is true? When you have negativity and toxicity, that's infectious.
It is.
It kills an organization. So
oh my goodness,
the opposite side of it is, you know what I'm saying? But people don't want to, I don't want to say they don't want to take the time, but by not taking the time, in other words, you can't afford not to look at that kind of thing. Right. As an organization, you have to make time to look at that.
Yeah, right.
Period.
Dollars,
big organizations.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to take time to do that. You have to. If you don't, your business is not going to thrive. Why do you think Amazon is like billion dollar company? What do you think Amazon's culture is? Now, if you watch the news, they'll say, "Oh, their workers are overpaid." You hear snippets, but what do you think the actual culture of Amazon is? When you go on there and you order something, and it's to your house in a few days, they're doing something right. But their culture, I guarantee you, their culture is good. Guarantee you.
Well, and look at this. We can take and we're going to go to a commercial break real quick, man. This is Impacting Life 24/7 with Mike B. That's your new radio name, and CL King coming to you live from Impactville on Impacting Life 24/7. And listen, if you'd like to connect with us, if you'd like to be a part of this movement, this train is leaving the station. As you see, we have a week full of impact. There is no day except for Sunday this week that we will not be on the air making an impact in people's lives. So if you'd like to connect with us, go to clkingspeaker.com. I think about it, Mike, when it's raining. Or think about it with the pandemic.
Right.
The pandemic forced something. Now, Chick-fil-A needs to start cutting us a little check. I'm going to send this to Chick-fil-A, see if they give us a little royalties off of this. You know what I'm saying, brother? Hook them up.
We're giving them a lot of advertising.
You know what I'm saying? When they get some free advertisement, I need some love. I need a little more than a chicken biscuit, too, because I can't fill up my gas tank.
Word up, man. That's right.
When organizations call me and be like, yeah, can you come speak? I'm like, yeah, they were having a chicken dinner. We could get you an extra plate. I'm like, honey, keep the chicken dinner. That can't put no gas in that SUV.
Wow. That's funny, man.
I know that's wrong, but at some point, you're going to starve to death if you do everything for free. So anyway, think about the pandemic. They had to close the local restaurants, right? You couldn't go in to the local restaurant.
Right.
And I like a good Chick-fil-A salad or Chick-fil-A biscuit.
Right.
You look, there's Chick-fil-A and then another fast food competitor.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic has mandated that the restaurants can't have people sitting in them.
Right.
You look at the drive-through line.
Man, I thought it was an auction in my town, man. Are they giving away stuff? What is going on, man? And
so
traffic for 4 miles is backed up, making a right turn to get a chicken sandwich up in that camp. Their menu ain't that big, homie. What you gonna get? Chicken.
I'm like,
they don't have no steak. They got chicken and other chicken.
Look, bro.
Chicken nuggets.
Look, I'm thinking of like when in the Eddie Murphy movie Coming to America, when the man was like, "Give it up for sex and chocolate," it was just like, right, 1, 2 claps, right? Yeah. You look, you see the line wrapped around Chick-fil-A like 4 times. You got on ramps and off ramps. You can't eat in the restaurant, and then you just glaze. Or you just gaze a few yards away at their other fast food competitor, and there's somebody out there just sweeping the somebody out there sweeping the
You got the guy that's doing the taxes, and he's dancing. Woo! Come on to my restaurant. You got the guy that doing the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle. He's out there dancing.
I'm just like, so they've tapped into something.
Oh yeah.
That people will say, this is kind of my point. People will say, I'll go there because Chick-fil-A is not cheap. I'll go there and pay a few dollars more,
right,
for not only the quality of food I get, but the experience.
The attitude, the service, the ambiance, even like you said with a tent. I mean, can remember we talked about, Lord forgive us, the DMV and how bad that was.
Right.
If the Chick-fil-A would DMV would learn how Chick-fil-A runs business.
Yes.
It'd be a good place to go.
Oh my goodness, man. Okay.
You talk about efficiency.
Yes.
Efficient. They are efficient, bro.
I don't usually, I was a little torqued because I don't usually post stuff on my page. I'm pretty my page is a sacred place. I don't like a whole bunch of negativity on my page. But when I posted about the DMV, I was just livid. I was hot, man. I'm just like, man, this place, they got these kids in line waiting because they say walk up is from 7:00 to 11:00, right? So if you in line at 8:00, then you should be good to go. But they were so bottlenecked that the people that was in line at 7 or 8 o'clock didn't get to be seen, and so they waited in line for 3 hours for nothing. And that you talk about efficiencies. Yeah, let Chick-fil-A take over Social Security. We're gonna get trouble. We're gonna get trouble now, Black. So
yeah, pretty much. I know what you're thinking, though.
But
it does. It makes you wonder. If you had to imagine what the culture of the DMV is like, I can imagine what it would be like.
Right.
Like everybody comes in here is ticked off. Well, they've been waiting for 3 hours. Wouldn't you be upset if you had to wait for something for 3 hours?
Right. And
it's like waiting at the emergency room.
And you're right. And I think about that same thing. It's like I don't recall many interactions with that group, the DMV, where the people on the inside that's working is happy. So they ain't happy. I'm ticked off because I've been waiting forever. And you know what I mean? And so the culture is toxic already. So that's why I'm saying, man, do they really think we exist for you? Do they is that their model? An organization, just think, we ain't talk about the DMV no more so we don't get sued. But do you exist for me? Or is your building there for me? And do all of the people down from the CEO down to the janitor understand that you exist for me and Mike Black when we walk in the door?
Right.
You're expecting us to be there, and that's when we talk about First Church in Pearland, how they had to change that culture dynamics. I mean, like. I think when we come back, we're going to talk about the negativity and how that can sink an organization. because it really only takes really one or two, and it's just like you don't want to go in. You eating your lunch out in your car. Everything's sour in the office, and it shouldn't be like that, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, Mike, we will definitely. I know the owner of Chick-fil-A, so we're gonna send this. We're gonna send this little montage to him and see if that brother will like to. Maybe we can partner with them and give away some Chick-fil-A stuff on the show. Awesome. That would be cool, man. I've worked with them before, so here's a commercial break.
Awesome.
Commercial break, real quick. Every time you hear Impacting Life 24/7, it is brought to you in part by our amazing sponsors. Donald Skip Mondragon II MD is a platinum sponsor, and he is a 26-year Army veteran, National Veterans Wrestling Champion, a speaker, and author. He is the author of Wrestling Depression is Not for Wimps. Lessons learned from an amateur wrestler's fight to triumph over depression. Contact him and book him today at WrestlingIsNotForWimps.com. The Underdog Ninja Foundation are platinum sponsors. This was founded in 2020 by Javi and Jessica Madrigal, a husband and wife team that have been battling and overcoming heart disease for 18 years. Their personal story and experiences have led them to follow the calling of empowering, educating, and supporting those fighting heart disease. They have a remarkable platform and a dynamic story. Contact this amazing team at underdogninja.org. Belinda Tyson Linder has spent decades investing in people from all different backgrounds. She is a platinum sponsor. She has led inner city programs for disadvantaged youth, as well as being a mentor to young adults, married couples, individuals facing adversity. Belinda and her husband have built multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses and have trained leaders on having tenacity and character. Ultimately, Belinda cares about people. Bettina Carey is a platinum sponsor. Bettina Carey is a 4'9.5" Latina. She inspires and empowers women to create big results. They break through, they shatter their earnings ceiling, kick self-imposed limitations to the curb, and live their legacies now. Whether she's coaching from a live or virtual stage or conferencing with a small cohort of bold women or men on the rise across from a conference table, her championship strategies and straight talk compel women and men to find their whole new gear and succeed beyond their wildest imaginations. Connect with Bettina today at WeEmpowerYourLife.com. You've heard it here, folks. All of these people help us with Impacting Life 24/7. If you would like to join them, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to CLKingspeaker.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. All you got to do is go to CLKingspeaker.com. We are just having ourselves a hoot of a time tonight with my man Mike B here on Impacting Life 24/7. I'm your host, CL King, with my co-host Mike B, coming to you from Impactville. And we have been talking based on my week-long experience in Pearland, Texas. We spent the second half of the show talking about, organizational culture. Mike and I both have led culture for a large organization, both being chairmen of a culture-focused committees. And that's one of our passions, is not just culture for the sake of let's get together and have potlucks, but people. And you hit the nail on the head, Mike. You said that people are our number one commodity, and sometimes that can get lost in metrics and accomplishments and goals and bottom lines. So I'm just going to pick your brain before we go. Let's say an organization, small organization, whatever, wants to address how how do they even take the pulse of the culture in their workplace? Because some folks think that everything is great who are in leadership, and really it's not. So how is that important to take the pulse of the culture in your organization, and what would you suggest an organization does?
Yeah, I definitely think that organization we know that takes a survey, they survey the workforce and see how things are going. But different businesses, small and large, use surveys as a way to get feedback for how things are going. Um, I think that that's great and it's a way to do it. But I think that problem you'll see is that it has to be organized. Number one, it has to be understandable as to what's asking, and then you have to what they're asking, and then you have to actually listen and then implement the change. And that's the problem is that a lot of organizations, big and small, don't actually implement the change for whatever reason. And it has to be ongoing. It's always ongoing. It's not a, well, we'll just do it. It's good. We'll go back to sleep. It's not the way it works. It's always ongoing. People are coming in, people are leaving. I was going to talk just for a hot second about some of the negatives about culture is you have high absenteeism, turnover rate. You have to retrain folks, new folks coming in. You've lost money for people that walked out. And then how does an organization attract good talent? And then it starts with hiring and they hire good talent, so it's just it's endless of things that organizations can do to 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 really take the pulse and turn the direction and change things in any organization, large or small.
That's interesting you said that, Mike, because that is exactly you I thought you were in Texas with me, brother. That's exactly what First Church had. The sentiments behind where they are now is that it's ongoing. So
Right.
so like when you achieve a good culture, don't think that okay, you've arrived
Right.
and that's it. It is ongoing. And for an organization that is looking to make that change and looking to really, one of the things why I think First Church is so successful is because they're a big church, but they're a small
Mm-hmm.
but they're a small church. Everything
Right.
everything they do filters through their small groups. They got hundreds of small groups in their church. So all these little microcosms of the church are all throughout the area, and they're all taking care of one another, and they're all, you know what I'm saying? So when you get down to the micro level of an organization, that's really where you can start seeing and affecting a culture, is that it's not just at the 50,000 foot level with the leadership, but it's down in the laity, or the people, if you will.
Right. And my church does that too. Brag on my church for a second. They do small groups, and small groups are really a good concept. And so I'm just amazed that that church is using that. Not amazed, but that's really been I don't want to say popular. It's not the right word, but that's really been proven
Right.
to yield the best results to the small groups. Because you think about a church of 1,000, you go to a church of 1,000, you're not going to know half the people. You might know 4 or 5 people, but in these small groups, people connect and they get to know each other and they actually, develop relationships. And then, like in my church, what they do is if you want to join another group, you can join another group, and they don't frown upon it like, oh, you're quitting this group. They're open to it. You can go to a couples group, you can go
Yeah.
to a men's group, you can go to whatever. And
Right.
so it really is neat. And to tie that into like bigger organizations is that the culture there's many culture in different groups. And so imagine that. Imagine you have one area that's like awesome, and then you have other area that's like stinks.
Right.
Well, what's the reason that one area stinks? What's the reason that one area is totally awesome?
Right.
Isn't that something people should investigate? Wouldn't you think people walk in there and say, "Man, I feel good after leaving that room," or "I can't wait to get out of this room." You got like two thoughts. You walk in the room, you're like, "Wow, I can't wait to go back," or you're like, "I can't wait to get out of this room." It's just like
Wow.
the only two rooms. It's the only two feelings you're gonna have in any situation.
Man, that is so powerful. I think about like this right here, what we're doing. This to me is not work. This don't feel like work at all. In fact, I love doing this. You know what I mean? Like I can't wait till the next show. I can't wait to talk to and find out somebody. So in other words, imagine if you can tap into, if you look at the psyche of that group that you talked about that's doing well, those
Right.
people probably enjoy being there, right? And then the group that is semi-toxic or whatever, they probably punching out soon as the bell rings. You know what I mean? They're not connected, they're not unified. And man,
Right.
and so when you got to, you said it best. You said you got to investigate these things. So
Right.
for organizations out there, man, that have listened, and if you're an organizational leader listening to Impact Life 24/7, I know this may have been a little more free flowing than normal, but my man Mike B put out some really good nuggets of thought. If the very first thing that you can do is at least investigate the culture. Like, okay,
Right.
don't run your organization with blinders on, thinking, well, okay, our bottom line looks good, that should be good enough, when you might be sitting on a powder keg. Is that about what you were saying, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it all ties in, and you're right. I was saying that you can't rest on your laurels. That hey, the numbers look great today. You know, you could lose half your staff. Pandemic could hit. People could, you know, take other jobs. I mean, it's just yeah. You said it best too, man.
Yeah, so
It's ongoing.
it is ongoing, and
You know,
that's why we have this discussion when you and I get together. You know, this is one of our favorite topics to discuss, because I'm really fascinated by it. I really am. I'm really fascinated by one place you can go to and feel this aura of amazement, and another place you can go to and you're like, where in the world is the exit? You know what I mean?
that's right.
Like,
That's right.
like, okay, if you say church, you go to one church and you're just like, man, you want this thing to go into extra innings, you know, like keep singing,
Right.
keep preaching.
Right. I ain't even hungry.
I ain't even hungry. You know, the pot roast is good.
I'm good.
Right?
I'm good.
Right. But then you go to another church and you just like, I mean, okay,
You're like,
hey,
yo, dog.
how do we get up out of here?
Time to get some chicken, dog.
And they call that, you know, going back out the back door. You know, somebody comes in the front door and they're going out the back door. You know, it's like they're not staying. And
Right.
you know, I believe, like, we could tap on this another show, but you know, developing your people and
Right.
and being aware of where their giftings are and develop those. Right. You know, constantly continual process improvement is about developing. And if you see somebody is gifted and strong in this area that they like, that's where they want to go. Why would you? Because some organizations do this. Why would you take them out of where they're thriving and where they like to be, and put them in something that is totally unrelated to what they're doing, or what their skill set is, or what their likes are? You're going to see that productivity of that person go down the tubes.
Amen to that.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great show with my friend Mike B. He's the co-host. I forgot, Mike, you were supposed to host the show all last week. That was what we were planning for the whole time.
Sure was.
Why did you say something?
See, what had happened was
I totally forgot. And I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. I wasn't supposed to miss a week of broadcast. You were supposed to be doing it.
well, you can train me up to host a show before the year's out. That'll be a goal. Let me do the whole show. Whole show.
And I
before the year's out.
just sit and watch.
You can't even watch. I'll just tell you how it is afterward. You take the night off and turn your computer off, and you cannot check it. I'll put a chain around your laptop
can't
and
even
your
check
phone.
it.
I'll lock it up, and you can't check it till the next day.
Oh, that'd be awesome, man.
Yeah,
But you know what?
awesome.
That, you know my heart, and I mean, I trust you implicitly. You know what we're trying to do here. We're really just trying to impact lives, and so I wouldn't care what you did. If it impacted one life, hey, you did more than I did that night. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. Tune in tomorrow night. We'll be back. Like I said, we've got a full broadcast week. Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. We have a guest from Australia. Friday at midnight is our midnight motivation, and then Saturday at 7:30 will be our 200th episode celebration, where we'll hear some testimonials and just have a big time. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Mike, any closing thoughts?
Just thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you said something that impacted you, and we love you. You know, that's how we roll. CL, thanks for having me tonight, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and if you guys noticed, Salt and Pepper had on the same kind of hats tonight. I guess he's Salt and I'm Pepper tonight, but we're wearing our Nike hats, baby. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this was not prearranged.
Right. The swoosh is going the same way, right?
That's right. Going the same way, and it wasn't prearranged.
That's
I wore
right.
a black shirt. He wore a black shirt.
See, man, it's just
That's how we connect. That's how we connected, dog. We connected like that.
we just make it happen. So again, if you like to be a part of what we're doing, this crazy locomotive, go to clkingspeaker.com. If you'd like to become a sponsor, that's the place you can do it. Join us, man. We got people joining our sponsorship all over the world. We're just adding a new one today. A new dear lady, Amanda Aker. She's a new sponsor, a new gold sponsor. So we're thankful for her. We're thankful for all of your support, and we will see you tomorrow night right here in the high definition studios of Impact Life 24/7. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Peace.